The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Guerrilla Politics. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'm radio talk show host Dale Jackson. You can hear my radio show on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN in North Alabama. And with me, as always, is Dr. Waymon Burke. He's a doctor of political science at Calhoun Community College. There are a lot of new listeners and viewers joining us in Mobile and Birmingham and online at yellowhammernews.com. We appreciate all of you joining us. Go to that website, yellowhammernews.com. Sign up for my email blast, the 7 things you should be talking about today, and you will get that in your email every single morning, Monday through Friday, and I promise you, you'll enjoy it. We've got an exciting show for you today. General Jim Link will be with us. Dr. Burke has a history lesson involving Ronald Reagan and Radio Free Europe and how that ties in to the Iran situation. And I'll talk to you in my parting shot a little bit about Steve Bannon and how he's not this giant boogeyman who cost the Republicans the Senate seat in Alabama like some are saying. So we've got a jam-packed show. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let's start with the 2-minute warning. Dr. Burke, if we talked about anything else in this segment, it would be malpractice, because this is the biggest story probably that has happened in the entire Trump presidency. Now, I say that to you, saying that it is a pretty negative story for everyone involved. There is no question about that. Steve Bannon, a long time, and you can say it's not true, but it is, a longtime aide of Donald Trump, both during his campaign and in the White House, is quoted in a new book saying a lot of very negative things. Now, that book is full of what we would call bombshells. Now, you can argue they're not true. The White House has already put out a cease and desist letter. Excuse me, Trump's personal lawyers did that, not the White House. And there are a lot of people calling into question a lot of the things in this book. My first question to you, Dr. Burke, is this: why would Bannon do this? Why would he give these quotes to this reporter? Or this author? Why
that is a valid question. But why would the Trump people invite Michael Wolff in to be an eyewitness to history when they knew his reputation for sensationalism?
No, it was a sensational. I mean, that's really a very good point. There's a lot of sensational stuff here. Not to say that it's not all true. And I saw someone on MSNBC this week who said something that was pretty interesting. They said, if half this stuff is true, if a third of this stuff is true, it is still crazy that this is going on. They paint the President of the United States in this situation as an incompetent, delusional, almost dangerous individual. So if it's true, there's a real problem. Do you buy the book? And I mean, do you buy the content of the book?
Well, I think you have to buy some of it to some degree. I mean, they obviously trusted him enough to bring him into the inner sanctum, and he had access to these people, and whether he embellished or not, I guess time will tell. But here's an interesting thing. To my knowledge, to this point, Bannon has not said he didn't say these things.
I'll tell you this. On Thursday, I tuned into Bannon's radio show. He opened up the show, didn't say a word about it. The first caller called him on it, and he said, me and Trump, we're still good. That was it. That was the extent of it. It was, I mean, he did not, and I didn't listen to much more because I have my own radio show, but I thought that was very interesting to see that he didn't really want to weigh in there. But this story's going to go on for a long time. Yes. All right, we need to move on to the next subject. Doug Jones. He is the new senator from the state of Alabama, sworn in. Remember, on this program, guys like Dr. Burke told you over and over and over again that Doug Jones, he was this middle-of-the-road guy. Doug Jones, he's going to reach across the aisle. Doug Jones is this guy who's not going to be a liberal. No, he is Doug Jones, moderate senator from the state of Alabama. So why in the world, on day one, before he's even sworn in, does he give a stiff arm to Richard Shelby and say, hey, Vice President Joe Biden, people in Alabama hate you. Why don't you escort me to my swearing in? This was a snub. There's no question about it. First and foremost, it was a snub, correct?
Well, I don't know if it was a snub so much as him trying to honor an old friend who was...
it's not done. It's a violation of tradition. It's a snub.
It has been violated.
Just look at the camera and say it's a snub.
I don't know if it's a snub or not. I mean, I understand from people I talk to that he and Shelby actually get along very well.
I'm not arguing
I
that.
don't know if he talked to them beforehand or not.
Is this a mistake? And the answer is he didn't. He didn't even invite him. So he snubbed him, whether you want to admit it or not. Did he make a mistake here?
I don't think it would be good, regardless of what party you're in, to ignore Senator Shelby.
Yeah, he's a senior senator for Alabama.
I would probably have done it differently, but for whatever reason, so he did. But is this something? Richard Shelby is a seasoned professional. Richard Shelby is going to do what he sees as in his interest for the agenda that he's promoting, regardless of personality.
Joseph selling a shtick that he was going to be a middle-of-the-road, work across the aisle guy.
I think that is actually true.
But first thing he does is snub the senior Republican senator from his state. That's not a good idea. This was a mistake, right?
Well, I would have done it differently, but I don't speak for the Jones campaign. Obviously.
Speak for Dr. Burke. Was it a mistake?
I would have done it differently, but I don't think that this is a game changer.
You know, last year, Dr. Burke's New Year's resolution was to answer questions. We're
we're
not quite there
I
yet.
answered the question.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Look, this is something that I find very interesting. Alabama's Harvey Weinstein. Now, you guys know who Harvey Weinstein is. You may not know who the editor of the Anniston Star is. H. Brant Ayers. This is a name you're not going to need to know. What you need to know is that this guy was a longtime Democratic donor. He sat there in Anniston and was the publisher of that newspaper, taking Democrat positions, giving money to Democrats, funneling money to Democrats via fundraisers, etc. The AEA took a ton of money from him. Dr. Burke, direct question. Does the AEA and Alabama Democrats need to disavow the publisher of the Anniston Star and give the money back?
Well, first of all, I think what he did and apparently has admitted doing is appalling.
Yeah, he bent over his employees and spanked them.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's
it's
just be
just
clear what he did.
absolutely appalling,
Yeah.
and I still find it difficult to comprehend that. But has Fox News disavowed Bill O'Reilly?
Yes, they fired him.
Well, they did fire him.
Seems like a pretty clear answer to that question.
But the fact is that he disappointed many people.
Does he need to stop?
Thought that he had better judgment.
He's now the chairman of this organization. They have ties to the University of Alabama, funneling students that way. I don't know if any of them were spanked, but funneling students into that situation. Does the paper need to do away with him? And do Democrats need to return the money that he gave them? Do they need to disavow?
Well, I wouldn't return the money because they had no way of knowing. I mean, as appalling it is, I don't know that they should I don't think they have the money to return.
The Alabama Democrats don't have the money. But you know what?
But I don't know if any Republican groups have returned any money or any in-kind things from of course, not only Roy Moore, but I'm talking about Bill O'Reilly.
Okay. Bill O'Reilly wasn't donating to people.
He gave in-kind support.
They should disavow, correct?
Probably so.
Okay, well, still not there to that direct answer to the question. All right, moving on to the next one. Alabama Republicans, are they in danger? Now, you may be seeing a couple of things take place. Martha Roby in Alabama's 2nd Congressional District has drawn another challenger. Barry Moore, a state representative, is already challenging her, saying that she did not support Trump enough. Now, one of Roy Moore's staffers, both at his foundation and when he was on the Supreme Court and during his campaign, is running against her as well. Congressman Mo Brooks has a couple of challengers in North Alabama, including State Senator Bill Holtzclaw and others. A lot of the criticism towards Congressman Brooks is that he did not hug Donald Trump enough, and that came up in his Senate race. Do these guys have something to worry about? Or are these guys worried that these challengers could be successful? Do these Alabama Republican congressmen have something to worry about, congresspeople, including Congresswoman Roby? Do they have something to worry about from these challengers?
Well, a lot of times, in this case, Republicans, it's happened to Democrats as well, where they're primaried by someone who claims that perhaps, in this case, the congressperson did not take a strong enough position on something. And they've been successful in some states in doing this.
Yeah, they're challenging them from the right.
They were challenging them from the right, correct. And as a matter of fact, Mark Bray, who was Congressman Brooks's last challenger, actually Mo Brooks had to paint him as the right-wing extremist in the campaign.
I don't recall that. I do recall him beating him senseless.
But yes, he won overwhelmingly. But the fact is, had Roy Moore prevailed, then perhaps one of his former staffers would have a better chance. I think this may be a time to see if Alabama is through with Roy Moore and his ilk.
Interesting. What I find odd about this is the more you split the field, the more likely, the Donald Trump method, the more you split the field, the more likely the incumbent, the biggest name, and the biggest name in this case is going to be the incumbent congressman or congresswoman.
Oh, yes. I mean, I think it would be difficult to knock either one of them off. Not impossible, but I think it would be very difficult.
All right, lastly, let's talk about these Iran protests and who got it right. 2009, you may remember, there was the Green Street Revolution. And at that time, the current president of the United States was in the infancy of his, or not the current, excuse me, the previous president of the United States, Barack Obama, was in the infancy of his presidency. And they were working towards getting some sort of deal with Iran, figuring out how to make nice with Iran. And they really didn't support those people in the street at all. Very different tact by the current president of the United States, at least in words, saying very clearly we support the people in the streets in Iran. He has talked about the theocratic regime and talked about how it's almost time for them to fall. Who got it right here? Who got it right in this situation? Were they right in 2009 to work solely towards that deal, give them pallets of money and help them stay in power? Or did Donald Trump get it right in throwing his support, at least in words at this point, behind the people in Iran?
Well, I think that probably at that particular time there was some hope that they could cut some sort of deal as opposed to military action, which is very expensive, of course, in blood and money. It didn't work out in the end, and sometimes it doesn't work out. The current approach reminds me and parallels more to what happened during the Cold War in Eastern Europe when there were uprisings and Radio Free Europe, we'll be talking about that in a moment, encouraged people to rise up, and some people, critics say, got the false hope that Americans would intervene militarily.
But that's more
when they did, there was a massive crackdown and there was no support for them, is what critics say. Now, is that going to happen here? Will Iran eventually crack down on these protesters? My guess is they will.
They already have. They killed about 20 plus in the streets already, but that's not really what we consider to be a crackdown. The one thing that I think is important here is Trump has taken the more traditional, which he normally doesn't do, the more traditional American position. Freedom anywhere is better than dictatorship or authoritarianism.
Well, I don't know if it's traditional because we have even at times supported.
I understand that.
International
okay,
interest.
that's fair. But overall, freedom is better than non-freedom, and that's where we are in this particular institute. I mean, why are you rolling your eyes at that? Is that not the American position?
As much as, yes, we do prefer a free type society. Sometimes that doesn't always work.
Well, of course not.
For example,
who got it right? Who got it right? Who's more right, Trump or Obama?
I think we'll have to wait and see if he gets it right. What are the consequences?
Next week, we'll get to Dr. Burke directly answering the question. Stay tuned, folks. Coming up here in just a quick second, someone that might know a little bit more about this stuff, including the Iran stuff, the North Korea stuff. General Jim Link will be with us. Stay tuned. Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at Made Pro. With me today is Cindy and my dogs Savage and Sarge.
As you can tell, these dogs are a handful, and if it weren't for Made Pro, I wouldn't put up with any of them.
Now, that's absolutely true, folks. Made Pro comes once a week to my house, and they keep it clean. They keep my marriage happy, and they keep these dogs happy as well. Call them today, 256-585-6628. Check them out online at madepro.com. And when you talk to Made Pro, make sure you tell them Dale Jackson sent you.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
RVing, still an American pastime.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my good friend Matt Curtis and the Matt Curtis Real Estate team. You know, since I've been working with Matt Curtis, the number of hours it takes for him to sell a house continues to shrink. We're down to 14 hours. Every 14 hours, Matt Curtis sells a house. If you're looking to sell your house, he's the best in town, one of the best in the entire nation. Call Matt Curtis today, 256-333-MOVE, and check him out online at mattcurtisrealestate.com. And when you do, tell him Dale Jackson sent you.
At Premier Dental, you'll always be welcome with a big smile and a friendly professional team. Our services include everything from children's dentistry to dentures and everything in between, including cosmetic dentistry, Invisalign, implants, and much more. We accept most insurances, offer bilingual services, and even offer in-house financing. So call us at 256-469-6428 or visit premierdental.org. We're looking forward to seeing your smile soon.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my good friends at University Kia. I've been driving a University Kia vehicle for years, multiple vehicles. I've put hundreds of thousands of miles on vehicles from University Kia, and I highly recommend that you go see my friends down there. Go see Calvin, go see Arthur, go see Dave Brady, and you're going to find the perfect vehicle for your family. A car, an SUV, or my brand new vehicle, a Kia Soul. You're going to find exactly what you're looking for at University Kia. Check them out online at universitykia.com. And when you talk to my friends at University Kia, tell them Dale Jackson sent you.
RVing, still an American pastime.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my good friends at Rocket City Property Management. Look, I've got a property and I've got a renter, but I don't have time to be dealing with all the hassles of being a landlord. That's where Rocket City Property Management comes in. They collect my rent, they deal with the maintenance issues, they help me find people to live in my property. They'll do it for you too. Check them out online at rocketcitypropertymanagement.com, and when you do, make sure you tell them Dale Jackson sent you. Welcome back to Guerrilla Politics. I'm Dale Jackson, Dr. Burke with me as well. And our guest in this segment, retired Army General Jim Link. We're thrilled to have you here for a bunch of reasons. One, your pedigree, no question about that. Two, you spent some time in Korea, also Pakistan, and we're also going to talk a little Iran as well. But let's start with Korea. Donald Trump's language towards the North Korean president, the taunting, my button's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
In the past, you've told us Donald Trump's gotten a little reaction out of them that you thought was good. Is this still good? Is this still a positive, you think?
Well, there seems to be some movement. They're now talking to South Korea, which I think is a good thing. I think you've got major egos involved here. And you have to look back at the background of the North Korean leader. He was raised as a perfume prince.
Yeah, almost a god.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so he is now confronting someone who is as important as he is in the world.
So, see, it's interesting to see. I use the word taunting. That's what it is. If you were advising the President of the United States, would you take taunt this guy?
I would be very firm and precise and direct with what I can or cannot do.
Okay. So you think this is actually wise then? That's how I read it.
I think generally it's positive.
Okay.
Although, obviously, if things go south, and they could any moment, I'll have to retract that.
Okay.
I'm sure that's the last thing we want is a real hot war.
Exactly. Not there. That would be a very nasty one.
Yes, sir. And we've got the Olympics coming up here within a few weeks, and so that adds to
artillery range, I should add.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. I want to shift to Iran, and Iran is, of course, another hotbed where a war could start at any time of the day. Should we be encouraging these people to resist the regime? If we do not support them in the end, could that actually hurt our position in the future if there's a crackdown against these folks who are expecting U.S. aid?
I think we should tell them we do support their cause, but also tell them be pragmatic. We're not going to deploy troops to Iran. And I think most of them are smart enough to recognize that. But I think it's in our national interest to support that movement.
Now hold on, you know it's interesting. You support the more bellicose position in North Korea, where you're kind of strong, but almost maybe not so much in Iran. It's because it's different.
It is different, and I think Korea is a tussle of egos.
Yeah.
There's a personality conflict going on there. And that's a little different than what's going on in Iran.
In Pakistan, General, threatening to cut off aid to Pakistan, and of course there's a link there between our American troops involved in Afghanistan. Is that a problem?
Well, no, I think it's worthwhile threatening to cut off aid in Pakistan.
So it's an effective weapon.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, in my experience, I was over there in, I guess it was the mid-90s. No, yes, mid-80s, excuse me. But they are working in their own interests, not necessarily ours.
Right, and we found that in hunting for Bin Laden.
Real quick, we're running out of time here. Does he mean that threat? Does he say, okay, we're not gonna give the money? You think that happens?
I'm not so sure.
Okay, so it might be more of just another bluster. And there's a theme here. In all these situations, the President of the United States is kind of blustering. Okay, General Jim Link, thank you very much for your insight in those particular areas. We appreciate it. Dr. Burke and I will be back. Dr. Burke has a history lesson for you. I have a parting shot. Thanks for watching and listening to Guerrilla Politics. Stay tuned. More coming up. Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my good friend Matt Curtis and the Matt Curtis Real Estate team. You know, since I've been working with Matt Curtis, the number of hours it takes for him to sell a house continues to shrink. We're down to 14 hours. Every 14 hours, Matt Curtis sells a house. If you're looking to sell your house, he's the best in town, one of the best in the entire nation. Call Matt Curtis today, 256-333-MOVE, and check him out online at mattcurtisrealestate.com. And when you do, tell him Dale Jackson sent you.
RVing, still an American pastime.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my good friends at University Kia. I've been driving a University Kia vehicle for years, multiple vehicles. I have put hundreds of thousands of miles on vehicles from University Kia, and I highly recommend that you go see my friends down there. Go see Calvin, go see Arthur, go see Dave Brady, and you're going to find the perfect vehicle for your family. A car, an SUV, or my brand new vehicle, a Kia Soul. You're going to find exactly what you're looking for at University Kia. Check them out online at universitykia.com. And when you talk to my friends at University Kia, tell them Dale Jackson sent you.
RVing, still an American pastime.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at Made Pro. With me today is Cindy and my dogs Savage and Sarge.
As you can tell, these dogs are a handful, and if it weren't for Made Pro, I wouldn't put up with any of them.
That's absolutely true, folks. Made Pro comes once a week to my house, and they keep it clean. They keep my marriage happy, and they keep these dogs happy as well. Call them today, 256-585-6628. Check them out online at madepro.com. And when you talk to Made Pro, make sure you tell them Dale Jackson sent you.
At Premier Dental, you'll always be welcome with a big smile and a friendly professional team. Our services include everything from children's dentistry to dentures and everything in between, including cosmetic dentistry, Invisalign, implants, and much more. We accept most insurances, offer bilingual services, and even offer in-house financing. So call us at 256-469-6428 or visit premierdental.org. We're looking forward to seeing your smile soon.
Waymon Burke here for Russ Russell Commercial Real Estate Company. Russ Russell Commercial Real Estate is Huntsville's premier commercial real estate agency. Russ can help you with anything you need, whether it's raw property, office space, a commercial development. That's Russ Russell. He's a native Huntsvillian. He knows us. He knows our people. He knows real estate. A member of the Better Business Bureau, 536-7777.
Welcome back to Guerrilla Politics. I'm Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Dr. Waymon Burke. As we wrap up the show this week, like we do every single week, Dr. Burke has a history lesson for you. This one, believe it or not, is about Radio-Free Europe. And I've got a parting shot for you. I've told you before, we've talked about Steve Bannon. I'm going to explain to you that he's not all-powerful. We'll talk about that here in just a quick second. Dr. Burke? take it away.
Dale, this is a commercial that brought back childhood memories to me because I remember a variety of these on television during the Cold War about Radio Free Europe, which was broadcasting Americans' points of view into Eastern European countries dominated by the Soviet Union at the time. And we actually encouraged a lot of people to revolt against their oppressors, and some critics have said we forced them through propaganda to revolt, and then we didn't come to their aid. This is one of those commercials, and then I'll tie it back to Iran when we get back. And it involves a person who will be known very well in the future. Roll it.
My name is Ronald Reagan. Last year, the contributions of 16 million Americans to the Crusade for Freedom made possible the World Freedom Bell, symbol of hope and freedom to the communist-dominated peoples of Eastern Europe, and built this powerful 135,000-watt Radio Free Europe transmitter in Western Germany. This station daily pierces the Iron Curtain with the truth, answering the lies of the Kremlin and bringing a message of hope to millions trapped behind the Iron Curtain. Grateful letters from listeners smuggled past the secret police express thanks to Radio Free Europe for identifying communist quislings and informers by name. The Crusade for Freedom is your chance and mine to fight communism. Join now by sending your contributions to General Clay, Crusade for Freedom, Empire State Building, New York City. Or join in your local community.
Dale, this was a typical tactic even today of totalitarian regimes who control the access that people have to alternative information. And so that's what Radio Free Europe was doing. And I guess we tie this back to Iran today. We're trying to get messaging into Iran to the Iranian people. And of course, Iran, like China and some other countries, try to control what their people consume.
Yeah, to control the internet and stuff like that.
Yes.
in a much different way. This is a world that if they had free internet, as we do here, this might be a completely different conversation.
Correct.
So even what they had before they started clamping down in Iran, it would have shown them a whole different thing. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Burke. Let's go ahead and get to the party shot. My party shot this week is directed at all my friends in the mainstream media. You guys seem to love to talk about Steve Bannon, and I will agree. This week we have a great reason to talk about Steve Bannon, but let me remind you of something. Steve Bannon did not lose Alabama. In fact, Steve Bannon did not win the Republican primary for Roy Moore either. It just didn't happen that way. And while we're rewriting all of this, let me remind you one more time. Roy Moore was already going to win the primary. Bannon didn't get fired until like August 19th. The primary was September 26th. He had nothing to do with it. Roy Moore was a juggernaut at that point. Mitch McConnell had taken out Mo Brooks. It was already over at that point. And as for losing Alabama, as Donald Trump said this week that Steve Bannon did, that's not true either. The simple fact of all of this, without those allegations, those 40-year-old allegations, true or not, Roy Moore is your senator right now. That's what happened in the state of Alabama. It had nothing to do with Steve Bannon. We could create all the boogeymans we want. Steve Bannon does not have the power we're pretending that he has. So stop spreading this mistruth. It's just not a fact. Dr. Burke, thank you very much. And thank you very much to all of our new listeners and viewers in Mobile and in Birmingham and online at yellowhammernews.com. Go to yellowhammernews.com today. Sign up for my email blast. You'll get it every single day in your email inbox. All you got to do is sign up there, and every day you'll wake up to 7 things you should be talking about today. Thank you very much for being here. We'll be back next week right here on Guerrilla Politics.